The 90s were an incredible time to be a kid. We had cartoons like X-Men, Captain Planet, and Hey Arnold. It was the golden age of video games with Zelda: A Link to the Past, one of my favorite games of all time, Super Mario 64, and Sonic the Hedgehog. And of course, there were the toys. Some of the most iconic toys of years past were in the height of their popularity during the 90s. From Super Soakers, Moon Shoes, and Gak, kids of the era wanted it all, with our best chance of receiving these toys during the Christmas holiday. We all remember getting out the JCPenney catalog or the Sears wish book and circling all the toys we wanted to make sure our parents knew exactly which toys to buy us that Christmas. There were so many amazing toys of the decade, and today I thought it would be fun for us to go through the best-selling toys of the 90s during the Christmas season. Stick around. What is up, Internet? Retro here, and let me tell you something. There is nothing that makes me feel more nostalgic for my childhood more than Christmas. There was nothing like waking up Christmas morning, going down to the Christmas tree, and just hoping that that gift, that toy that you wanted, that you had longed for all year, was down there, and that your parents actually got you the right gift. We all know that 80s and 90s kids grew up with the best toys, and I thought it would be fun this week to go through the best-selling Christmas toys of the 90s. But guys, before we get into it, two things. I want to know, what was that gift that you wanted? That toy that you wanted as a kid, and then you got it on Christmas, and you lost it. You freaked out, and your parents actually got it for you. And then also, guys, if you are new to the channel and you love all things 80s and 90s nostalgia from retro video games, movies, toys, and more, do me a favor and hit that freaking subscribe button so you don't miss out on new weekly videos. Let's get into it. From the cartoon series, clothing, merchandise, video games, and of course, the toys, 1990 was all about being a turtle. Who didn't love playing with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle action figures? Every TMNT character had their very own toy, even the bad dudes like Bebop and Rocksteady. The live-action film grossed more than $200 million at the box office that year, and the toys dominated the holiday season, selling more than $30 million before the end of the year. The TMNT franchise has remained popular decades later, with new toys being produced every year and original figures selling for over hundreds to retro toy collectors. With the home video game market exploding in popularity in the mid to late 80s, the early 90s was no different. The original Nintendo was released in North America in 1985, and it had been 6 years since we had seen a new console from the company. In August of 1991, we were introduced to the Super Nintendo in the US. Moving from the 8-bit NES system to a 16-bit console was mind-blowing for most kids back then. Some of the more notable games released at launch were Pilot Wings, F-Zero, and of course, Super Mario World. Any gamer in 1991 had to get their hands on a Super Nintendo that holiday season. Retailing at $199.99 that Christmas, they flew off the shelves. Over the span of its lifetime in stores, the Super Nintendo sold over 49 million units.
Toys R Us, the biggest video game store in the world.
In 1992, there was no shortage of TV shows for kids to watch. From Rugrats, X-Men, Tiny Toon Adventures, and many more, none gained more popularity than the educational children's show, Barney and Friends. Premiering on PBS on April 6, 1992, the series features the main character Barney, a purple T-Rex dinosaur who conveys educational messages through song and dance routines with a friendly, optimistic attitude. With the show rising in popularity, it was evident that a toy needed to be made. The large, oversized plush produced by Playskool came in at just over 16 inches tall and was a talking, interactive toy. Millions of the toy were sold that year, but the interest level and collectability of the cute carnivore is non-existent these days. Today they can be found filling Goodwill stores across the country for just a couple dollars. Home Alone quickly became a staple Christmas movie in many homes around the world in the early 90s, with no Christmas complete without watching the first two movies starring Macaulay Culkin. The popularity of the movie made for a massive opportunity in merchandising product, but none more genius than the Talk Boy, which was created as a prop for the movie. At the request of John Hughes, Tiger Electronics created the Talk Boy specifically for the second movie, and it quickly was available on toy shelves across America. Even though the functions of the Talk Boy were very limited, it spoke to all kids of the era, even girls with their very own recording device, the Talk Girl. But wait a minute, if there's a Talk Girl, where's the Game Girl at then? Regardless, the Talk Boy is one of the most iconic 90s toys of the era and was the #1 selling Christmas toy of 1993.
Credit card, you got it.
With the popularity of TMNT beginning to slow down during the mid-90s, we needed something new and fresh, thus we have the Power Rangers. Debuting in August of 1993, the show grew in popularity and became a huge success. Much like the TMNT craze, you could find anything and everything Power Rangers, with none more popular than the action figures. Easily one of the most recognizable toy franchises of the 90s, with millions of toys being sold in the 1994 season. I mean, who can forget the head-flipping Power Rangers? Decades later, the Power Rangers franchise is still alive and well, but we will all remember the height of its popularity in the mid-90s, and of course, Amy Jo Johnson. 1995 gave us all kinds of things to be hyped up about. The release of the first Pixar movie, Toy Story, Pogs had hit the scene, and playgrounds, unless they were banned at your school like they were mine. And who could forget the horrifying board game Jumanji? But none of these toys or games could even come close to the rise and popularity of Beanie Babies. Beanie Babies were cute, cuddly stuffed toys, typically in the form of animals. They had been cited as being the world's first internet sensation in 1995. At first, they were definitely seen as just toys because, come on, that's what they were. But as Ty Warner began retiring certain Beanie Babies, it inflated the price, making many of them more sought after. They were no longer seen as just toys, but as financial investments. This method worked for a while, but there was no sustainability in the model, with prices of Beanie Babies plummeting. They now can be found in thrift store bins for less than $1 a piece. In 1996, a new Arnold Schwarzenegger Christmas movie was released where a high-profile businessman is on the hunt for the elusive action figure known as Turbo Man. He waits too long to buy the toy and it ends up being sold out in stores, with people fighting in line just to try to get their hands on one. Well, in the same year, this very familiar situation actually happened with the release of a children's plush toy made by Tyco, Tickle Me Elmo. The popular character from Sesame Street received its very own toy that, when squeezed, would shake around and giggle an extremely terrifying and haunting chuckle. The toy had instant success, reaching the peak of its popularity during the Christmas season that year. People magazine reported that the toy was sold out everywhere, with scalpers reselling Elmo for over $1,500 by the end of 1996.
Yes, there are other Elmos available, but if tickling's your fancy, you're out of luck.
On May 1st, 1997, one of the largest fads of the decade was introduced with the release of Tamagotchis. Tamagotchis are handheld, keychain digital pets. You would take care of these things, feed them, play with them, and even discipline them. These were the toys we all brought to school in the late 90s in hopes of having some sort of entertainment during class, only to have them confiscated by the end of the day. With all types of variations and colors, they became the most desired toy during the Christmas season that year, selling millions of units worldwide. In 2017, Bandai re-released Tamagotchis, but at about half the size of the original. But don't fret, they still make the horribly annoying electronic beeping sound constantly. If you thought the Chucky doll from the movie Child's Play was scary, then buckle up. In 1998, the birth of many nightmares were born with the release of Furby. The electronic robot toy was originally released in 1998 by Tiger Electronics and were a must-have during the holiday season. These toys were pretty advanced at the time, with speaking abilities translated to over 24 languages. 1.8 million Furbys were sold in 1998, and stores couldn't keep them on the shelves. With such a strong demand for the toy, you could only find these horrifying creatures on the secondary market from resellers for hundreds of dollars. In 2012, Hasbro would re-release a new line of Furbys available in 16 different colors. 1999 was a historic year as the century drew to an end. Y2K was quickly approaching, which meant the demise of human civilization, but that couldn't stop a new toy craze to arise. Thus we have Pokemon. From movies, toys, clothes, and of course, the cards, Pokemon took over the world. The franchise grew in immediate popularity, and it was evident that Pokemon was here to stay. The first games we were introduced to were the Pokemon games for the Game Boy. Near the end of the 90s, we got Pokemon Stadium and Pokemon Snap for the N64, which, by the way, are amazing games and still hold up today. Aside from the games, multiple Pokemon movies were made. Though the movies were incredibly popular, that's not why kids wanted to go see them. No, they really just wanted the exclusive cards that came with your movie ticket. The cards are what go down in infamy for 90s kids. Birthday gifts, Christmas presents, and any extra allowance money meant the opportunity to buy more booster packs in hopes of pulling the almighty Charizard holographic card or everyone's second choice Blastoise. Between the cards, games, and other merchandise, Pokemon sold the most selling toys that Christmas season. And those are the best-selling toys in the 90s during the Christmas season. You guys tell me down below, what was your favorite toy from the decade? As always, thank you guys for hanging out, for watching the video. If you guys would like the video, subscribe if you have not already, and until next time, peace.